just can't anywhere else I'd be today. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of love for truth?
I believe we are live, Jonathan.
We are live with Greg.
And Jonathan.
Here we are, and Andrea and Sue.
Everyone wave.
Sue's there, Sue. And Charlie Brown.
Who's down here?
Downtown.
So far, he's not distracting. Welcome
And Oscar.
to TastyGents. And Oscar.
And Oscar. What's the presidential thing? I don't know
Yeah,
what
right.
the song is
For the Oscars, do they have their own song?
I don't know.
I'm just Ken. Yeah. So, welcome to TastyGents. If this is your first time, we're delighted to have you. You are not sure why you stumbled into this part of the internet, but we're glad that you did. This is our podcast.
It's a
Jonathan
podcast.
and my podcast.
Yeah,
It is
we do.
our podcast about mostly food.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Not always, but mostly. And recently also our YouTube channel, because
Here we are.
we have a YouTube channel.
So if you're watching this, then you're on YouTube.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we've been appropriated and we're on TikTok.
True. Good point. We might be
Chinese listeners.
Damn, exactly. Yes. Welcome, Chinese listeners.
Yeah.
Please don't send us misinformation. See, that's all we
We
need to
make up
happen.
our own anyway.
We do. So we have a slightly different topic today, as indicated perhaps by. This is an actual Oscar, so I was awarded an Oscar. It does. I know it probably looks like it's, it's like it's hollow underneath and a cheap
Maybe
plastic
also.
one, but it's not. It's
It
real.
isn't. No, and it's smaller because Greg is huge. He's a
true.
giant man.
Had to be said. Someone
Yes.
had to say it. We're going to talk a little bit about movies because the Academy Awards
Yes.
were just this past Sunday, and we both
We attended
attended.
as TastyGents.
As TastyGents.
You may have seen us.
We may have seen us. We were on the red
Yeah,
carpet.
we did the red carpet.
People kind of went a little
Well,
bit
I
wild.
was actually positioned at the end to hold that end down.
Yeah, and I was technically a server, so not
Yeah.
quite the same as
But
attending.
both of
But
them.
yeah, we looked really good. No, we attended a party. But
Yes.
one of the things that we have been talking about,
Mhm.
all of the TastyGents, including Andrea, who is our
Mhm.
additional
Sue.
TastyGent, and Sue, my friend Sue, who's visiting, is some of the nominated films, and specifically what we have loved about some of the storytelling in some of the nominated films. So, and now we're waving at neighbors. Gary's
Gary.
walked by. Hey, Gary.
There you go.
He doesn't see us. So,
Yeah.
Gary, if you listen, we are looking at your butt.
There it is. Yeah.
Anyway, there are going to be perhaps spoilers in the upcoming
Oh,
TastyGents
definitely.
episode.
Yeah.
So if we start talking about one of the films from the Academy Awards and you have not seen it and you plan to, maybe this is your minute to go unmute, go get a drink, go use the bathroom, go for a walk, take a deep breath, whatever.
Yeah.
So just know that
And
spoilers.
we'll announce the film we're about to
We will.
talk about before.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
like the Muppet movie, Kermit dies. Like
Oh.
spoiler. So we
Hacked
won't
to
do- yeah.
bits by that pig.
Oh.
I mean, Miss Piggy. Anyway, what do you want to talk about first? So we're going to do mostly movies. We may touch on other things as well because we always ramble.
Well, because and if you're listening to this or watching this, then of course you heard it start. It opened up with I'm just Ken.
I'm just Ken.
I'm just Ken. So let's talk about Barbie.
Oh, can we please talk about Barbie?
How much of a influence has this been on young people throughout the world?
Well,
Not
I don't
just-
know.
Not just adults. Yeah, I don't have no
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
So I love this movie, and I don't mind saying it. I would say out of 5 stars, this is easily 4 to
Yeah.
4.5 for
Yeah.
me. And I think when you talk about the influence of young people, if nothing else, what they did, in my opinion, brilliantly, and Margot Robbie is one of the initial producers, the one that really, as I understand it, brought this movie to life.
Yeah.
And then of course Greta Gerwig, who is my favorite of
It's
everything.
incredible.
And all the cast and crew and everybody else, right? So okay, all those folks took this this toy that does not really have a story
Child's toy.
other than ways to sell more toys, and built a story about women and about the empowerment of women and what it takes to be a woman. America Ferrera's extraordinary monologue
Mhm.
about what it takes to be a woman is amazing. And they built this complex, I think, layered movie that does so many things well. But at the very top of it is that it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the colors from the 80s,
Yes.
1980s, a lot of neons,
Yep.
spandex.
Spandex.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's right. Hairstyles. Coordinated dance scenes. I didn't
So
think
good.
I was going to enjoy that as much. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I am now looking back at other movies that did not have that, Oppenheimer, and thinking maybe they should have.
There, I think a little bit of choreography in Oppenheimer, a little bit of song and dance might have lightened what was otherwise, let's say it, a pretty dark topic.
Explosive.
Explosive, one could say, yes. You see what he did there, didn't you? Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler, it's about a bomb. Anyway, so that's what I love about Barbie. And so there's a lot to love. So things specifically that I loved about Barbie, Alan, played by Michael Cera. So
He
good.
is so perfect.
So he's just a little befuddled the entire time.
Yeah.
And then he has a save the day moment, which we love.
And all Ken's clothes fit him.
All of Ken's clothes fit him, which we learned about. Yes. Ryan Gosling as Ken, in my opinion, completely deserving of that Best Actor nod. I think, was he nominated for Best Supporting? Was he nominated for Best Supporting in the Academy Awards or just the Globes?
The Globes, I think. I don't think.
Okay.
But deserving of any award.
Yes. So funny.
Yeah.
And just his sense of humor anyway is great. So big fan of him. And by the way, if you haven't seen the performance of I'm Just Ken, either from the movie or at the Academy Awards, get thee to the YouTube.
Pause right now.
Yeah. We'll wait.
Yeah. If you're in a car, don't pull over, but just get home.
Yeah.
Do the YouTube.
Do the YouTube, watch the performance of I'm Just Ken because it's fantastic. And what I didn't realize visually, so I saw some people post this. So at the Academy Awards, he had on a kind of sparkly pink tuxedo, and then all of his backup dancers were sort of cowboys that had red and white bandanas.
Yep.
It is a really close approximation is the wrong word, but it appears to clearly be an homage of Marilyn Monroe's performance of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That's not her.
No, Diamonds Are
Girl's Best Friend. From the movie. And so if you see them both together, the parallels are very, very clear. And so I love that was just another layer.
Wait, are you saying Ryan Gosling is the modern day male Marilyn Monroe?
That is what I'm saying, in fact. Yeah. And Madonna's not the modern day Marilyn Monroe.
She's not modern day.
She did it. She did a song years ago, remember?
Oh,
well,
she did.
That's the problem with modern day and years ago. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She is the material girl. So it should be said. Andrea is going to see Madonna this evening. So she's got Madonna on the head. Yes.
I know. She's very excited. Yeah.
But that's all we're talking about here.
We're talking about that.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm Just Ken. Performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish won, and her brother Phineas won for best song for the song "What Was I Made For," which is what a stunning performance by both of them on the Academy Awards. And
Billie Eilish looked great.
She looked awesome.
She really did.
She did.
Yeah. She didn't look like she rode a skateboard there.
She did not look like she rode a skateboard, but she usually does. And she's 12, so maybe she did.
Okay,
but that was a great moment too. So okay, what else about Barbie? I could go on, but
Dan DeVito's ex-wife, Rhea Perlman, fantastic,
great moment.
I thought she did a great stellar job. She had a very cameo piece. But
completely agree.
Completely, and I just thought she was fantastic. I also would watch her in anything. Ever since Cheers, she's just been one of my favorites.
She's got some gravitas. I would say. I would completely agree.
For being 2.5 feet tall,
she's little.
She brings it.
And yet I think she towers over Danny DeVito.
Quite a bit,
because they're both quite diminutive. It could be said. What else about that? Will Ferrell is in, and appropriately is not central to the story. I mean, he does a great job for what he does. But
he was very much Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he was.
His character, which is, it was physical and it was over the top and was, almost pseudo obnoxious in what he was saying.
All true.
And I love him. I love him in so many other things. But I'm like, okay, he's playing a very generic Will Ferrell.
Yeah, it was kind of a reprisal of his role in the Lego movie.
I didn't see the Lego movie.
Oh my gosh, really? Stop everything you're doing. We're gonna have to go for a minute. It's quite good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hysterical, actually.
Live action, the Lego?
Yeah.
People as Legos?
Chris Pratt voices what's the guy's name? And there was a song.
Is it people in Lego costumes or is it like little Legos? Right?
It's little Legos. It's like a stop motion. It's hysterical. Elizabeth Banks. Oh my gosh, there's a hair tossing moment for Elizabeth Banks as a Lego character.
Legos.
I'm telling you. All right.
Oh.
We're going to come back and talk about the Lego movie after Jonathan gets up to speed on this. But
So
anyway,
far behind.
Will Ferrell in the Lego movie
Yeah.
has a role that is essentially the same as his role in Barbie.
Okay.
So
he practiced.
He had practice.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't see the Lego movie. This worries me for you. Did something happen to you? Who hurt you? You stepped on a Lego, didn't you? And it's all been downhill since then.
I know.
All right, what else? We mentioned
okay, so Barbie.
Barbie.
And I think I don't know. I think we could come back to it. There's a lot. There is, and if you haven't seen this, and you might think to yourself, we can watch a movie about a toy that does stuff. It's more than that. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's and then almost more fun than what the Barbie character goes through. What Ken
Ken's journey
goes through, what his journey is. Great.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. The Barbie journey is great. The arc of her character is kind of what you would expect it to be. The arc of Ken's character is not necessarily what you'd expect it to be, but good heavens, is it fun?
It is.
Yeah, he renames Barbie Land. And what is it? The Casa House Dojo Casa House.
Yeah. Ken's Casa Dojo House.
Yeah. God, it's so good. Okay. We've already mentioned the explosive movie that was Oppenheimer. Yeah. Which did win Best Picture.
It did.
In case you weren't paying attention.
Oppenheimer.
Best Picture. Cillian Murphy got Best Actor for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. got Best Supporting Actor in Oppenheimer.
Okay, let's just take a second with Robert Downey Jr. Okay,
Jay.
His life story arc has just been so
crazy,
all over the place.
Yes.
That if you are out there right now, listener, viewer, watcher, lover, whatever you are, and you think, I'll never be able to do it. Just look at Robert Downey Jr.'s life and then know you can do it.
And if you are not finding what you need there, just Google Robert Downey Jr. mugshot.
Yes.
Because when he was arrested for his drug use, and all the other things associated with that maybe that was the lowest point for him. I don't know, but and he references all that in his acceptance speech because he won for, as I said, Best Supporting.
Yeah.
And talks about it, and he gives great homage to his wife. So then I want to shift for a minute briefly to the Academy Awards. What was your favorite acceptance speech? Do you remember?
Oh my. Well, yes. And I want to say she was in the holdovers.
Davine Joy Randolph.
Thank you, because I had the last name.
Yep.
And if I'm gonna be honest with you,
Be honest with me.
Brought me to tears. Like I don't cry over much, right? The playing with the national anthem, obviously. Stepping on Legos, as you mentioned.
Obviously.
Yeah. And now this.
Yeah. That's a good triumvirate of things to cry over.
Good work.
It was, thanks. I know. I've been saving up triumvirate to be able to use.
I saw him reach in his pocket to get it.
So Davine Joy Randolph did win Best Supporting Actress for The Holdovers, which was a subtle performance, beautifully done, and that's a great movie. And she talked in her acceptance speech about that she never thought she was going to be an actor and how she'd come to it and what's important to her in the work. And so that was cool to listen to. I agree. I think my favorite acceptance speech, Robert Downey Jr.'s, was a good one.
That was good.
I like Emma Stone's. So she won Best Actress for Poor Things. Which
if you haven't, we're going to talk about.
Holy mackerel, we're going to talk about Poor Things.
If you haven't seen it, you just buckle up.
It's this thing, yeah.
It's pretty good.
She was funny because her dress broke, which I got a kick out of.
Yeah.
She seemed genuinely surprised and appreciative, and she gave a shout out to Lily Gladstone in a really great way. So I thought that was really great. So she might be my favorite acceptance speech. And then probably my favorite moment of the Academy Awards would be the "I'm Just Ken" performance, because holy mackerel, that was good. Anyway. Anything else about Oppenheimer? I thought Oppenheimer was very good.
Yeah, I just want to say I think that the performances were great, but it gave a level of story and depth of character to the human beings that were doing something that was scientifically thought to be impossible. That was technologically we were not advanced enough quite yet to make it, and we had to put all of the smartest people we could get together, many of whom came from places that were enemies for a while,
Yeah.
to build this thing to stop this movement of war that was sweeping around two different parts of our planet. And we did it, and it was extraordinary. The story of what Oppenheimer goes through and how he is affected, and also they made him very human. A married man who just doesn't always make great choices, and has affairs and does stuff. So, but still, his contribution to the world was extraordinary.
It was. Yeah. And I think that there's lots of ways that movie could have been made poorly and would have been easy to forget. But I think Christopher Nolan,
yes,
who won for Best Director, and of course the film won Best Picture, did an amazing job of bringing all the human stories forward. So we got Oppenheimer's human story. We got Robert J. Downey. I can't say that. That guy.
Robert Downey.
Why is it hard to say? Robert Downey Jr. There it is. Robert Downey Jr. His character.
This episode of TastyGents brought to you by vodka.
Vodka. Making life better since, I don't even know, the Russians made it from potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes. Yeah, since the potato.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right. What other movie you want to talk about?
Okay, so we did Barbie, we did Oppenheimer.
Poor Things.
Poor Things. Okay, we already mentioned it. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Let's.
Emma Stone, and
Willem Dafoe.
William Dafoe.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the character? He was in love with her the whole time.
Candles. She called the character Candles, but it was something Candless.
He's a comedian.
Is he?
He's not an actor. But he's a stand-up comedian.
His
he has
timing
something
was
coming out on
great.
Netflix. He is, and they interviewed him on the red carpet, which Andrew, can you cough more?
I'm so sorry.
Going back, since she is going to see Madonna, it takes her back to the 80s. She started smoking again today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going well.
You do what you have to.
She's taken a
you do
lot.
what you have to. Yeah.
She's had,
I think that.
yeah, she's smoking clove cigarettes from the 80s.
And she's going to color her hair blue.
That's right. Have one ponytail on the side.
Yes.
No, there's no smoking. Sorry, Bill. I'm just kidding. Poor Things. Amazing. Yeah.
So yes, Emma Stone, Best Actor for Poor Things, in my opinion, highly deserved.
Yes.
Willem Dafoe plays the scientist, sort of father figure for her.
Yes.
The guy you just mentioned, whose names I don't remember, who plays the character Candless, Mark Ruffalo, who is hysterical in this movie. And all of this, I'm forgetting somebody, I think, actor-wise, but many, obviously, more people. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who previously directed The Favorite, which was nominated for Best Picture a few years ago, had Olivia Colman and Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone in it.
Yeah.
And is also a really fun, weird movie. But Poor Things, so let's talk first about like just the look and feel of it, like set design, production design.
It's extraordinary.
It's amazing.
It's almost like you are in, part of it is a child's fantasy dream that you
well
are
said.
in.
Yeah.
What Tim Burton would have done before he went dark.
Yes. Well said. Yeah. See what he just said? The first time I got the real view of that is they traveled to Lisbon. And so, Lisbon is a city that exists in the world that we all live in. But in this version of Lisbon, there was like aerial tram cars on cables going above the characters. And so you really got the sense you were in a different world. The thing I'll say about Poor Things is that I never knew what was going to happen next. The main character is Bella Baxter, played by Emma Stone. She's I don't even know how to describe it. She is a product of scientific experimentation that Willem Dafoe's character.
Can we say the obvious thing?
Yes.
This is a Frankenstein story.
It's kind of a Frankenstein story,
right?
Yeah.
So, but what I really loved about this is that the most monstrous looking person was not Emma Stone.
No,
it was Willem
Dafoe.
Yep. Who is the scientist who did this thing and everything else. And his backstory is horrendous.
Yeah.
what his father did to him and the stuff, and
Yeah.
everything else, and the experiments, and how and then what happens when he eats.
Oh gosh.
So
yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
there's a whole process there that is just extraordinary, and what he has done to give Emma Stone life.
Yes.
That comes out at the end. If you haven't seen it, I'll let Greg tell you. But if it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so visually stunning. Every scene is amazing.
Yeah.
Emma Stone's performance in this as a brain not matched to the body that it came in, and a consciousness that's sort of out of touch chronologically, the brain of like an infant in the body of an adult.
Yeah.
So she has this sort of lurching way of moving around that is so cool to watch and so fun. And then we see this character sort of coming into its awareness, her awareness of the world and how the world works, and questioning mores and questioning why things are, and not being willing to accept sort of what her place is.
Mores being morals, not the eels.
Good point. Yes, there are no eels that are questioned in this movie, at least not in the part of the movie that I saw. Okay, so Poor Things, recommend it definitely, but don't go in with any preconceived notions about what's going to happen or about what it means for a character to evolve, because it's a thing.
Yeah.
And as a side note, by the way, the book it has so many things that are different. There's the ending of the book is completely different from the ending of the movie. And so if you watch the movie, you should read the book too, because it's unexpected and fascinating.
And I have not read the book, but you were mentioning that it was
pretty
great.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
All right, who do we have left?
Did you find in the book that the descriptions of the places were as vivid in the imagination as what you saw
They
on
were.
the screen? They were.
Yeah. I mean, visually, they did amazing things by bringing the book to life in a way that I think served both the book and the movie. So I think that it felt very, very similar. Which, without giving anything away, I'll tell you, is kind of related to the end of the book, which is different than the end of the movie.
Oh my gosh.
There's a spoiler alert that I'm not going to give you right now.
Okay. All right.
All right.
What's the next movie?
What's the next movie? What about Past Lives?
Past Lives. Okay. So we've talked about a $1 billion blockbuster.
Yes.
We talked about a movie that was literally dub bomb. We talked about we talked about a Frankenstein, like a sci, oh, not even sci-fi. It's a relationship, it's a self-discovery movie and
Good
thing.
point.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. Now let's just talk about something that is so lovely,
Subtle,
and well acted, that there is something to be said for no CGI.
There's not even a score, I don't think. I don't remember. No, there's certainly no CGI. Yes, it's just humans and cameras.
And story.
Yeah, and story.
And acting.
And this is Past Lives.
Past Lives.
So spoilers coming. There's
She's
a dragon that comes in. What?
She's a dragon. I thought she's a dragon.
not a dragon, Korean. So this is the story of two kids, 12 years old, in Korea, who are friends and have sort of a little budding 12-year-old romance. And then the girl and her family emigrate to Canada and then to New York City, and the boy stays in Korea. And so this is touch points at about 10 years after she leaves Korea.
Early 20s.
Yeah. And then another 10 or 12 years after that.
Yeah. And they're in their 30s. Yeah. See how I did the math there?
You did math just off the top of your head. It's amazing.
I didn't use my fingers at all.
That's our 14th take. It took us a long time to get there. So at least half the movie is subtitled, because they're speaking Korean to each other. And the performances are amazing. And so so we talked about some of the things we loved about it. And so Sue and I watched it last night on the TV, and there is so much tension between the characters. There's these moments of awkwardness. So they find each other, right? So the young Korean man finds the Korean woman. She is then married, or she is married when they find each other. And so almost everything is the Korean man who comes to New York and his childhood friend / woman that he had a thing for, and her husband, who is not Korean, is white.
Yeah.
And so that's where all the dynamic is. And there are some moments of just deep awkwardness where you just feel the tension so palpably.
Yeah.
But it's beautifully acted, and every moment felt real, and every moment felt just poignant and wonderful by the end.
I want to say something because I want to do a comparison to the latest, obviously, Aquaman movie,
Obviously, yeah.
where Dolph Lundgren
Mm.
delivers a line that is so unnecessary.
Dolph
that-
Lundgren is still alive. Did you know that that was true? I
Yes.
didn't either.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
Yeah.
Delivers a line
Oh,
so
look, sweet.
unnecessary.
He's still out there. Go
Yes.
back, bring him back. He's that is so unnecessary. I remember, and because I watch it, because I watch all these movies and whatever, superhero stuff. And I sat and I'm like, what? Is he getting paid by the line?
Right.
Is it? Does he just like he was contractually needed to say
Mhm.
something, and something as inane and dumb as this, and the whole thing in past lives, because there are these awkward moments and they're
Yes.
tense and they're meant to be. It brought me back, and I don't know if you watched a lot of European movies from, say, the 60s and 70s. You would have these long awkward pauses in
Mm.
between conversations where people are just looking at each other
Yeah.
for looks, and a cigarette, is smoke
Yes.
wafting up, and somebody takes a little espresso, but that's it, and then nothing's said,
Right.
and then the movie ends, and you're like, what?
just
That was 8 minutes of cigarettes, and this is an 8 minutes of cigarettes, but it is an appropriate amount of time. It is for the MTV generation where it's a 2-second changeover. This is an awkward piece,
Yeah.
but it makes you uncomfortable because you're supposed to be, and all the
Perfect.
words and lines matter.
Yes.
They matter.
Makes you uncomfortable because you're supposed to be. That
Yeah.
is exactly, I think, what I would say as well. There's a scene at the very end where our two Korean characters are saying goodbye, spoiler alert. And they're just looking at each other, and they don't talk, and they don't fill the awkward silence, which is what I have to do. And it just really it stretches out, and
Yeah.
it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it's wonderful. That's not the final scene in the movie, but it's close.
Their body language in that scene, facing
Yes.
away. She's walking into a place, and then they're waiting for a thing to happen, and they're not facing one another. They're like this.
Yeah.
They're like this, and then like he moves a little bit. She moves a little
And
bit.
she moves a little bit, yeah. And then they
And then it's
start
yeah.
looking at each other,
yeah, and then that's it. And then it's just,
and it goes on.
It goes
and
on.
and on. Yeah.
and then the thing happens that was supposed to happen, and it breaks it, right?
Yeah.
So because the world interrupts so much, and it to me was that thing happening was like her immigrating. It was the interruption of that connection
Yeah.
by the world again.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's a
It's
beautiful
well
movie.
done and well performed.
Past lives.
Well acted.
Just-
Past lives. Recommend it.
Yeah.
All right. What else
Pretty
is on the
tissues.
best picture list? I should have. If only I could have written this down.
Yeah. What are the other
Um,
ones?
Well, so Anatomy of a Fall, but you guys have not seen that yet, although we have.
American Fiction.
American
Oh
Fiction.
my gosh, American Fiction.
Yes.
That was great. Yeah, we saw that. And I really related to it because of my time in prison as well.
Yeah, I thought that you might have.
Yeah.
I related to it because I'm a Black woman.
Yes.
Wait, no, that's not it at all. I'm not a Black woman.
You
Um,
do whatever you want.
it can I though?
Yeah.
Can I? What did you guys think of it?
Well, I mean, and Andrew, you can pipe in as well. In fact, Sue, everybody can talk about this. Not you, Charlie Brown, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed. I didn't know it was going to be what it was, and I think you said this. You said this, that the hype had it as a slapstick kind of.
It
funny
felt
thing.
so comedic in
And
the
I
hype
thought it
of
was
it.
going to
Yeah.
be, and also it had these actors from these other shows that Westworld and
Sterling
and
K.
then-
Brown. Yep.
and then This Is Us, and
Mm-hmm.
and these actors that we really enjoyed for a long time, and playing very different roles.
Yes.
Very different roles from what we've experienced them in, and they nailed it.
They did.
Like first off, if I don't know who is in casting for that movie, but I'm going to send you a plate of cheese. Like, you did a great job.
Nice job on that.
Yeah.
We know that you listen.
Yeah.
So-
You listen. Yeah. Well, they're in Japan.
Yes, exactly.
Japanese.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So,
American Fiction. Yeah.
American Fiction, and I just I loved it. I love the writing. I want to talk about the acting for a minute because
Okay, good.
because it was great.
But that's where I was going.
But the writing, because it was poignant, and it took you into scenes where, and they just call stuff out in ways that people who look like me, Caucasian guys, white guys, don't always feel comfortable having things called out in such a way. And this is a language that is, prevalent and pervasive in other American cultures that I'm not a part of. And how they view us viewing them was brilliant. I love that.
Completely agree. There's a couple of things I thought were done really well. One that was really subtle. It took, I think Sue and I were talking about it afterward. They put, so most, maybe all of the actors, the characters are Black. I'm not sure. There's maybe the agent, I think, is Puerto Rican, they say.
Yes.
So first of all, it is, it's entirely told through the points of view of these characters who are all Black, or at least who are not white. And yet, and so we have the family with the beach house, and then the single woman who lives across the street from the family of the beach house. This feels like a really common trope in rom-coms that are almost exclusively white. So they place Black characters in places that I'm used to seeing white characters, and it just is it's that, like, this is familiar but unfamiliar, and they do it so smoothly. It looked like Cape Cod. Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Very Caucasian.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful place.
Yes,
wherever they were.
Yep. So then we have family stuff, which is we have adults. Jeffrey Wright plays an adult and Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us plays his brother, who's an adult, and then their aging mother is going through some health problems as an adult with an aging mother. It felt very real and very, very reflective. Sterling K. Brown is great. What an unexpected character.
Yes.
I don't want to give away too much, but gosh, he was more fun than I thought he was going to be.
And there's a lot, and everyone, ladies and gentlemen, he's shirtless a lot.
There's a lot to appreciate about Sterling K. Brown. Yeah. So they did not lose a lot of money on his wardrobe, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they had to cut. Okay, look, it's neighbors. Hey, Christopher.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Chris and George.
He didn't see us, Christopher.
Hey, guys.
The ending is the interesting part of American fiction, which is what you always want, right?
You think that's the most interesting part?
I don't know if it's the most interesting part, but it's what surprised me the most.
Okay.
Oh, look, it's George.
Yeah,
hey, George. The ending surprised me.
Best bakers in the entire community.
Those are
props to Greg for all the stuff, but
still
the cakes. Come on, George got the cakes.
Craziness, yeah. And he gives away pieces of his cake. George, I'm not giving this as a hint to you needing to give me more cake.
That's right. 3562.
Anyway, the ending surprised me.
Okay.
And in fact, when we were talking about this a few minutes ago, like I'm not entirely sure I know what happened in the end.
Right.
Not because it was confusing, but we were presented with a couple of alternate endings, and it wasn't entirely clear to me which one was fictional. You described it, and I think you were right. But it was fun to be presented with some alternate endings for the movie in the same way that we were for the book that he was writing.
Yeah, and I thought that at the end of it that it was it was well defined what the actual ending was. Did you get the nod to the Destruction Plantation? What was it called?
Oh no!
What was the plantation movie?
That's right.
Killer Plantation or Murder Plantation.
That's right.
And he's like that was the movie he was doing before, and then at the end of it, he's sitting across from the guy, one of the actors who's in a plantation thing, and he has just done this whole thing about it, and they just nod to each other and he dries off.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
A literal nod to it. Yeah. There's just so much subtlety in the movie and in the performances, and it just layers and layers. Not unlike, I really like this about the Academy Awards this year, and I'm going to actually start drawing us down because we're a little over our
Plantation
30 minutes. Plantation Annihilation.
Not a movie.
Not a movie.
Not a movie.
We might make that.
But yeah, it might need to be made now because what would be more inappropriate than
I've
that?
got some marionettes.
You've got what?
Marionettes.
Marionettes.
We'll make a.
Some merry knits is what I heard.
Oh yeah, I've got some marionettes. Yes.
Probably not legal in some parts of the South to have keep your merry knits. Anyway,
Yes.
I want to start drawing us down because I want to be mindful
over?
we are over, mindful of our listeners' time.
Just like the Academy Awards.
Just like the Academy Awards. Oh my God. That's true of us.
Yeah, start playing the music.
American Fiction,
Yes.
which we've talked about. Stranger Things.
Yes.
That's
Stranger
not it.
Things is not it.
Not Stranger Things, not Poor Things. Past Lives.
Past Lives.
American Fiction, Past Lives, and the one you haven't seen yet, which is Anatomy of a Fall. All subtle performances. For that matter, brief shout out to Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. Also a subtle performance.
Fantastic.
Barbie, amazing,
Fun.
not subtle.
Not subtle.
Not subtle. Didn't need to be. Bold and pink.
If you're going to do subtle, you don't hire Will Ferrell.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
well, you know,
dress everyone in pink.
What was the movie he was in with Emma Thompson?
Oh my God, Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, that's one of my
I've
favorite
seen
movies
that.
of all time.
One of my
Right.
favorite movies of all
You
time.
have never seen that?
It
I have
has
not
fun.
seen Stranger Than Fiction. So clearly I have to see Stranger Than Fiction and Jonathan has to see
Anatomy of a Fall.
the Lego movie.
The Lego movie.
Between now and the next time
Okay.
that we come on.
I think we're doing a watch party. Everybody.
We're doing a watch party. All right.
Okay.
We're interested in knowing. So, by the way, so
Yes.
TastyGents.com, but more commonly, TastyGents on Facebook, TastyGents@gmail.com, or here on the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
In all cases, we would love to hear from you. What did you love about the Academy Awards? What's your favorite movie from this year? What do you think we got wrong? Any of that, we'd love to hear it because, it's all that. And we'll be back to talking about recipes and food next week. What else, Jonathan?
What else is there?
What
Well, we didn't have any
else
popcorn,
is there?
but anything else?
We didn't have
I
popcorn.
want to say you were great today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're kind of awesome yourself today, too.
Good, man.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, doing well.
Friends, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, and that one enemy out there. Thanks for watching.
We still like you.
Yeah, we do.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Tasty Gents, a geeky Palm Springs to Seattle podcast.
Okay, cue jingle.
Cue jingle. There it is.